Well, thank you all for joining us. The introductions I'm going to put off for just a second, so we'll get to that. But I'm going to start off with a question I'd like to pose to the group here. Pretty simple. Why do people buy from you? Personally, it's not a rhetorical question, it's a real question.
Because we're so cool.
Because you're so cool? Perhaps, but perhaps not. Why do they buy?
We have something they want.
You have something they want? Absolutely. What else? Why you and why not somebody else? Why not your competitor?
Relationship.
Price? Relationship?
Differentiation.
Differentiation? Anything else?
Customer service.
Beg pardon?
Customer service.
Customer service? I thought I heard products.
Better product.
What was that?
Better product.
Better products?
Availability.
Availability? Okay, all good. Absolutely. I heard one answer in there that I think stands out, and I think is the real reason why people buy from you. Anybody know what bananagrams are? Oh my God, it's a great game, isn't it a great game? My kids love it, they're obsessed with it, so I was trying to think of a visual. I thought bananagrams. So my kids put this together. Relationship. I really think that's the key. That's the core. And everything else is important. Yes, products are important. Referrals, I'm surprised nobody said referrals, but that kind of relationship a little bit. Knowledge. Obviously you're an expert in your field, so that's why they turn to you. Rates. Somebody else mentioned rates and prices. That's absolutely important. Nobody else mentioned desperation. Yours was pretty close. You have something that they want. Well, they may buy from you just because they absolutely need it. At that point in time, they don't care about anything else. They have to get it done. They're all valid reasons. They all lead to dollars in our pockets. So that's all good. But fundamental to all of this, I'd say, is relationship. I think it's really hard to argue against that. So for that reason, that's why we're here today. And that's why these three people are on stage to represent a little bit about the conference group. And we talked about the conference group. This is our session. What I wanted to do is bring to the table people that I thought represented excellence in what we do. What we do, as the conference group, is obviously conferencing. So my name is Greg Plum. I am the channel manager, business development manager. I have inside sales, outside sales. I've been at this for 11 years now. So people come to me because of relationship. These three people are here also because of relationship. First we have, from Telecom Brokers, we have Nancy Ridge. Nancy is a veteran to the industry. Actually, Telecom Brokers has been with the conference group since 2003. Now that's a relationship that's been around quite some time. It doesn't sound that long until you think about it. We're actually in 2011, so it's quite a few years, especially in this space. You'll notice that when you come to these shows, a lot of the faces stay the same, the badges often change. Not really the case in the people that we're talking about here, for the most part. The companies have stayed the same, some of the people have swapped it, but always for the better. Export Solutions, now that's certainly, how long has that brand been around? It's a pretty relatively new brand. It's the first export communications, and the Solutions just switched over recently.
Solutions just came over last time.
So we have Kim Rochelle here from Export Solutions, and in one form or another, they've been with us since 2004 as well. So again, another long-standing relationship. So together, we must be doing something right, or at least we work together in some form or fashion that brings value to our agents. Outreach technology. This one's a little bit different. We'll touch on this a little bit. From Outreach, we have Joel Allenson. He's Vice President. Now, Outreach is a relatively new year.
Outreach itself is coming up on a year old. The company itself is actually almost 10 years old. We went through a rebranding roughly a year ago to reflect a value shift in what we're bringing to the customer.
Now, originally, the prior, we love to say, especially since we're sitting here in the audience, Keentel. It was originally Keentel. We've been working together. We've been working with Keentel since 2004. So again, long-standing relationships that we have here. And as a result of that, you get a value, you get a comfort level that you don't get from that happen overnight. They take years to really cultivate. So now that you know the cast of characters here, I'm going to open the floor up, and we're going to have a couple of questions. And then Feel free. Absolutely, speak up. If you have anything you'd like to add, we want to hear from you. First one is for Nancy. This is a question that we hear often these days. How can we compete with internet products like Skype for small and medium-sized businesses who are seduced by the idea of free?
Yes. A lot of the small to medium business, which that is a portion of our business at Telecom Brokers, they have been exposed mostly through the residential side of the house to products like Skype. And maybe they've been using it at home to talk to relatives or people, that they have friends across the world, so they think, oh, this is the way to go. And oftentimes my agents will go into a small business and they'll say, well, why not use Skype? It's free. Why should we pay for the video conferencing service that you're providing? And, one of the things I do want to point out is some of these free products like Skype can intrinsically add value to what we're doing in our models because they do introduce people to the concept. Many folks, the idea of video conferencing, talking to someone across the world was really far-fetched. They didn't think they could do it, but then they use a free Skype line and they find out, oh, this technology is available to me. So it's good for that, but what they find out when they try to go do that same thing in their business is that it doesn't necessarily work the same way because it's one thing if you're having a conversation with a friend or a relative and all of a sudden it goes to pixel or you've got, you get cut off or something, there's an interruption of some kind, it's no big deal. But if you're trying to have an important business conversation, then you can't have those kinds of issues happen. So I think one of the main messages that we try to get across to those small users is, yes, use your free service at home or when there's nothing at stake, but when you have something at stake, you want to use a product that you can rely on. And one more point I will make is that, the free conferencing that we've all heard of, all the free conferencing companies out there, they've been around for 10 years now, but yet conferencing companies like the Conference Group and others are continuing to grow and gain market share. So that means that free doesn't always win the game.
The freemium model is a great introduction to whatever service it is to the audience at large. Great. Anybody want to add anything to that? Any questions on that? I think that's actually pretty good response to a very tough question because customers ask that every single day. We don't win them all. Next one, this was for Kim. What are the strategies that have worked to getting a traditional telecom agent base to embrace conferencing?
One of the things that we've done at stores with me coming on board, I've been there about just over a year and a half, and one of my things is I strategically work on different products, different services, and we're all busy, but I kind of became a conferencing guru. You learn to talk. It was start knowing what customers are looking for, what the pricing is, what's available, and so it's easier now to go back to our traditional telecom agent and go, hey, you're leaving stuff on the table. It's an easy product to sell. But to have somebody within your own organization knowing it and being able to talk it, and get enough agents to be able to talk of what conferencing is and what's available out there for them.
How about the barriers? Do you find that the fact that the barriers to entry with this type of sale versus anything really, any other type of networkers, MPLS, really is a lot more cumbersome? Conferencing is simply a matter of giving them a different phone number and set of passcodes to call. Have you used that at all to try to just that puppy dog sale sometimes just to get it in their hands so they can get it out to their customer and grow it organically?
And that is a big part of it too. And it's also with conferencing, you're not necessarily selling it to the CIO, or the CTO. There's a lot of users within an organization. So sometimes it is just your admin assistants, your sales force, those are the ones that are really using it, and a lot of times they're the ones that are bringing it back. So it's not just the traditional, going in and talking to the IT person. It's really talking to different levels. It's a different sell because you're selling it at a different level within those organizations also.
Well, there's several prongs to it that you can actually attack. You can get into that back door that absolutely creates that viral growth in terms of Does anybody in the room not sell conferencing today, aside from our representative attorney that's sitting in the back? So everybody's selling conferencing. Look, it's cool.
Well, you know what, there's a difference between offering conferencing and selling.
Being successful at it.
You know, and I think what you were saying was important, and I'm struggling with that. I've got a nationwide sales team of direct sales reps, and I'm trying to get them to offer a voice conferencing service. And we've almost gotten to the point where we're just simply signing the customer up and delivering it along with anything that they buy. We've fallen to that model because I don't know that we're not hitting the right people. We're not talking to the right people, and I'm not sure how to define that.
So it's a value add. Every customer that comes on board, you're automatically.
Absolutely, they're all being signed up for the service.
And do you have enough of a base, a sample size to be able to see what a conversion or
Not yet.
activation rate is? Not yet.
Not yet. We'll get there.
I think it's a good model. I think it's a really good model. You can do that with this service. It doesn't require a contract.
Right.
Very few things require a contract today.
And then the whole pay on it too, is you're talking about signing up all your customers. It's one of those things to be able to go back, and that's one thing that I work with our agents on, is once you sign them up, it's something that they can use. I mean, usually if you sign up a client on conferencing, it's available for them within 24 hours. So it's a good thing, a lot of times the desperation is, I need to set up this conference call. So all of a sudden you're like on a 2-hour going, I need this, get this set up, here's your number.
But it's doable.
But it's doable, if one service, yes.
It is a thing.
Yes, you have a plan. And the follow-up is, make sure that everybody that could use this has the bridge. You're charged only when it's used, but, everybody has their own bridges. And the more that they use it in comfortability, it spreads within that organization.
And by bridge, you mean their own set of passwords.
Their own set of passwords.
They don't have to worry about coordinating it with an administrator. They have free access to it. That's good. Anybody want to add anything to that? Kim, you good with that? I'm good with that. Okay. Joel. Pricing keeps going down in conversation. Is there still money to be made?
The answer is yes. Before we talk about that, I want to just add one thing to what she was saying, is that that sense of desperation can provide angst at every level. And that's actually one of the sales tactics that you can use, is avoiding that desperation. So you help the customer understand that there's going to be times that they're going to need a conference bridge. So why not have it set up in advance so that they're prepared and they don't have that desperation? So that's kind of the flip side of that. You can actually use it as a sales tactic. The answer is yes, money can absolutely be made with conference call. The question is how you position it. You need to uncover, just like with anything else, what are the customer's needs, and identify what needs they have that conferencing would meet. And you get a much better engagement level, because the answer is no to that question if nobody ever uses the bridge. You can get the bridge in front of them, you can put all those different things out, but if they never use it, then the answer to that question is no, you're not going to make any money. So the key is not just setting it up, but also how do you drive customer engagement so that money can be made.
Yeah, I think the other key point is when people say conferencing, what do you think of? You think of audio. You think of a bridge call. You get an 800 number, you get a set of passcodes, you get a conference card. That's to the lion's share of this industry, as well as the customers. That's what they're thinking of. Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. These days, everybody knows. I'll throw out some names that you all know. Microsoft Live Meeting, Lotus Live, WebEx, GoToMeeting. I mean, they're all now household names. They weren't a few years back. There's another opportunity. So we, of course, as the sponsor of this session, we do the same thing. We offer those products. We don't want to just be one flavor, one size fits all. We'll bring to the table, through these master agents. You have access to Microsoft Live Meeting. You have access to IBM Lotus Live. You have access to Mega Meeting on the video conferencing side, which has taken on a whole new growth opportunity since it's now flat rate. So everything that used to be metered per minute, that people could not predict the charge, and there was a fear intrinsic to that. That's no longer the case. It's now, with the video conferencing, it's now flat rate. For $20 a month, you get a seat, a video seat, unlimited use. Go get 5 seats. Buy 5 seats, you're looking at a $100 investment, unlimited video use from your desktop. All you need is a browser and a webcam. Yes, sir.
I think the gentleman in the front row is asking how can you make a sales team more productive, bringing a solution to them. And we do a lot of web conference and audio conference solutions, and instead of focusing on the price points and that, because as you said, they're coming down and we're flattering with it, is really understanding what are they trying to accomplish in the meetings. I mean, what are the productivity value that can be gained by doing a web conference, travel costs, obviously, expense reduction or allocation, reallocation of expenses. And what does that mean? And is that customer interfacing? Are you doing it for your sales calls? Are you doing it for internal meetings? There's HR departments that can use this. It really depends, but that's where we try to focus when we're talking to a client, is understanding what they're trying to accomplish and how they're doing their meetings today, and what more do they want to get out of them. It seems to work very well.
Yeah, please.
And I think that's a great, excellent point, and it's really so important because I think taking a different approach to conferencing is really a key. You know, we come at it from a different angle today because so many of even the Fortune 1000 companies are looking to include conferencing as more of a strategy rather than having their people travel so much. Even with customers, it's becoming more acceptable. And the other thing that we see is a proliferation of organizations building out actual video conferencing spaces within their facilities. And that's where that per seat solution can be, you know, really effective. So, you know, even though the per minute is coming down on the traditional audio stuff, you know, we can come in and offer these other solutions. And I think that's also a strategy of going beyond just the casual user or, you know, coming in through the back door, where if there can be a conversation had at the upper management level, then those strategies can be, you know, really looked into. And that's where, as agents, I think we can shine because we bring that value. And not only that, it's great because it opens up all the other conversations right behind it.
Well, the nice thing about this, it's very hard to demo a conference call. Well, it's basically the same thing as demoing dial tone. It's not very exciting. However, demoing a video call, a video conference, just a point-to-point, it's fun. Absolutely. You have to fix yourself up. I know. It's a pain. You have to put this sort of like a collared shirt. I didn't want to shave it. I had to shave because I was on a call. But it allows you get a tool. You have that, and actually what we do for Masters, we actually provide free demo accounts. You know, you would have these tools at your disposal, our agents do, where don't just tell them, show them. If you're on a call with somebody and say, well, are you in front of the computer? Well, 9 times out of 10 they are. And here, can you click on this link? And suddenly, now if they don't have a camera, they're not going to, you're not going to see them, but that doesn't matter. That's not the important part. The important part is that they see you. So suddenly you've taken that regular old sales call that the agent's making and turned it into multimedia, and now they can see you. Now you've connected in another way. It's not the same thing as shaking their hand. It's pretty close. Anybody want to add anything to that? That's a key.
Rachel Maddow does it.
Sorry, who does?
Rachel Maddow.
Really?
Cisco, you know. Sorry.
We don't have Cisco. Yes, ma'am.
So I think with that, you're showing them how the service works for you and not work for them. Where what we saw all the time is services we can't see it or touch it. This allows them to see it and touch it and use it. And that's
Absolutely. Well, it's the old adage, you know, picture's worth 1,000 words. Literally, you're just having them see it without you don't even have to be selling that service.
Exactly.
You could use it to sell something else that you're selling. Now that you've used this different medium to do it, they're suddenly intrigued. No, that's great. Anything else? Sorry about that. This is going back to Nancy. See, how can we distinguish our products on the basis of webinar software platforms, Lotus, Microsoft, etc.? What's the difference between all these things?
Well, you know, there's many differences between the different platforms. I think how we distinguish ourselves as solutions providers is working with companies that offer multiple platforms, because we may not always be influencing exactly which platform a company is going to use, but if we can provide a service that will be compatible with what works for them, I think that's most important. You know, some companies even have certain platforms completely blocked off, you know, that they can't download that type of software. So those are some of the questions that you need to ask in the beginning to make sure, you know, that the product that we're bringing is going to be a fit. But then once that's established, I think, you know, it's just really important, because that's how all these great applications are enabled. You know, that's how we get to do the, you know, the radio conference and all those bells and whistles.
But it's funny because everybody talks to a customer and you know before you even go in there if they're a Microsoft shop. Or they could be to say they're a Lotus shop is kind of a dated comment, but there are still shops and that's what they are. They don't want to deviate from that and it's just, that's the way they've always been. If that's the case, okay, you better have that platform in your toolbox or otherwise you just move on to somebody else because they're just not going to deviate from that. Plus, by having multiple options, you're no longer having to take your one service and make it fit every possible solution. You are truly more of an advisor role, as opposed to saying, you know what, I'm a sales guy, I need to make this sell this product to you, Mr. Customer, otherwise I'm not making my quota. You're not doing that anymore. Suddenly you're saying, well, tell me what your needs are. Somebody said, you're finding about the needs. It's exactly what you're doing. You're uncovering the pain and taking the tools that you have, finding the best fit. So I think that's all good. Good stuff. Anybody want to add anything to that? Kim, what are the key differences between selling conferencing and traditional voice and data services? And this is my question because I have no idea. I've never done anything but conferencing.
I think one of the things that, she was saying too, this is something, especially when you're looking at the video conferencing and stuff, it's something you can touch, play, it is there, it's live right away. I mean, when you're selling traditional voice and data, think about install times on it. You're lucky 45 days on some things, The other thing is, as an agent, it is something, like you said, it can be set up within 24 hours, customers using it, it's billed right away. That whole, with commission-wise, it is a much more quicker commissionable item than anything else that we're selling. It's there. It's also the no contracts. Customers try it. You will be charged for what you use. Try it. See how it enhances your business. And a lot of times I think there's still customers out there that are just afraid of contracts. And with no contracts, with conferencing, it's kind of an easier sell with that too. Go ahead and test it, try it, see if it works for you. There's additional items that you can go back with, but just the audio, reservation list.
Now, one thing we have found, if you're and a typical agent is actually an advantage versus the conference group because I have nothing else to sell like conferencing. So if they don't want it, if they're covered, then we're hanging up the phone and moving on to the next person. But what's nice about this particular case is when we're talking to somebody, it doesn't require the contract. Very easy to get out there. But what you will hear is this: well, I'm in contract. So the key there, you need to dig a little bit deeper. And are there any specific agents in here? Do we have? Okay, good. Phew, thank goodness, or else this was a waste of everybody's time. When you hear that, you hear, you know what, we're in contract. The knee jerk is to say, okay, well, when's contract up? Okay, I'll put you. Can I call you back maybe 90 days before contract's up? That's typically how those calls are handled. However, with conferencing, it's a little bit different. We want to find out who that contract is with. If it's with a carrier, if it's with AT&T, or if it's with Global Crossing, you want to find out because conferencing may have been incorporated. And the pricing on that, it could be all over the board. When it's provided by a carrier, it's all over the board. Sometimes it's high because they figure they slide it in under there and they're never going to notice it. Or, depending on the account, it may be ridiculously low. They're saying, you know what, I'm just going to give this away. I don't care. Conferencing is just a sideline to this. I want this other piece of the pie. So that's where you have to dig in. You need to ask the right questions, target, and really use that puppy dog sale. Find out if there's any little bit of daylight there that we can take advantage of and sneak in there and get them an account, try it out. If you're partnered with the right company, we have done conference group where we've kind of differentiated ourselves is no one ever says our service is but that's what we built our reputation on. We don't go out and have the booze cruises. We just don't do it. We don't have the big parties at these shows. We've been here for 10 years. Most people know who we are. They at least know this big red C. They may have recognized my face. But we don't do that. We kind of lay low, and we've grown organically. But as a result of that, our relationships are long-standing. I mean, these three master agents are examples of the length. And we have other agents that have been with us for almost since I started. I started the channel 10 years ago. And we still have some of those same agents, and they're still producing. And that just comes from doing one thing. I don't have the advantage of selling many things. I sell one thing. We just sell great, sell it well. Did you want to add anything to that? That was, as far as the differences, because I'm not the expert in selling anything other than conference. Anybody else want to add to that? Joel, we're going to take a little bit of a twist here. Just because I'm intrigued, I've known Pete Keen for a decade and respected him. I know he's always taken kind of an orthodox approach to the channel. And it appears he's done it again. So I'd like to just learn a little bit, what does outreach do differently than some of your competitors, your friendly competitors who are doing that?
In answering that question, I want to tie conferencing into that because what we're trying to provide for our customers and giving our agents the ability to provide to their customers is a total solution. We've moved away from the model that has been in place for years, which is put 5 quotes in front of the customer and hope they choose one, okay? That doesn't provide a whole lot of value to the supplier. The closure rate on that is very low. If you're truly understanding what the customer's needs are and you're developing a solution for that customer, your closure rate goes up and it's a much better experience for all. And conference calling can be a key part of that solution because if that's a need that the customer has and you don't address it, then guess what? Somebody else may, and now they have a foot in the door. So the conference calling, while it's an ancillary type product, can actually be a key piece of the solution that's being developed for the customer. Now, Greg had mentioned that we're doing some things that are maybe a little bit unique. There's actually 2 things that I want to touch on briefly. One is something that has actually been in place for about 7 or 8 years, in one form or fashion. Originally, it was called the Sales Partner Program. And what that did 7 or 8 years ago was allow someone who was focused on being successful to pay a monthly fee and get 100% of whatever the supplier is paying. So
it's a kind of RE/MAX model for real estate?
It is just like the RE/MAX model for real estate, and so I'll use that to kind of help explain. RE/MAX agents, they get 100% of the commission associated with that sale. And the question is, well then how does the broker make any money? The answer is they're paying a monthly fee to have access to the branding, to the office, to all those different pieces. And what it does is it allows a professional who wants to be successful to reap 100% of the benefits of their efforts. Okay? Because in essence, that real estate broker is capped at whatever that monthly fee is. Okay? 7 or 8 years ago, that's what we brought to market and translated into the telecom industry where you could pay a monthly fee and get 100% of whatever the supplier, like the conference group, is paying. So the profitability for your business goes up. When the economy got tight a couple of years ago, there was only so many companies that were willing to pay that fee before they ever saw line one of income against that fee. So there was a transition into what's been out in the market for the last couple of years, which has been called cap and trade. Cap and trade, what that has done is allowed a partner to start out at an industry standard split, but as soon as they reach a certain level, we cap how much we keep, so that the same concept is in place. It allows somebody to benefit 100% on the upside. What we are currently doing to change that slightly is we're bringing back the sales partner program. So there is an option now to pay that monthly fee. The difference is it's not just a monthly fee for 100% of carrying comp. We're also providing business tools and things that will help that partner be successful so that they have the ability to grow their business maybe in a different way as part of that. So that's one thing that I want to touch on where we're definitely a little bit different in the marketplace. The other thing that will be officially announced tomorrow is we're rolling out a IT, full service IT on an agent basis which as far as we know, nobody else is doing. And what I mean by that is the traditional telecom agent can go out and sell IT services, have it be supported by an IT company, and get residual commission just like any of the other products and services that are out there.
Okay. Touch on that a little bit. IT services, it could be what? It could be anything. As far as database management, development, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, there's actually a couple of different products in that portfolio. The core product is full service IT managed solutions, which is everything from hardware, software, remote management, help desk, on-site work, anything that the customer needs from an IT perspective that is then done for one monthly fee. Here's the key thing that's driving this. For years, there's been a lot of talk about the convergence between voice and data. The problem is that in the real world, that convergence has not happened very well when it comes to selling IT versus telecom type services. And there's specific reasons for that. What everybody's been trying to do for years is to have both of those become one. Have the IT guy become the telecom guy, or have the telecom guy become the IT guy. And that is actually the path that we were going down up until recently, when we realized that what we were trying to do was something that repeatedly has failed. So why would we be any different? And so we rethought that whole process and identified why it's been a failure in the past, and come up with a program to try to address those points so that there can be success. Because we're not talking about having the IT and the telecom come together as one, but rather keep them separate. IT on this side, telecom, network connectivity on this side, and rather than having them come together as one, provide a bridging strategy that allows both to focus on what they do well, while at the same time benefiting from what's offered on the other side.
Ladies, you're going to get a chance to tell me, I'd like to know a little bit. I mean, X4, we go back even the precursor to X4 communications in the early years. Tell me, if you could, to the audience, if you could, a little bit about X4 and what is different. I love the organizations. Maybe someone bring a little bit about what you do. That's it.
Well, Export Solutions, we are a national agency, and one of the things that we changed was we used to be Export Communications. So obviously, just a lot of voice and data. Kind of our big thing was we were CLEC, CLEC master agent. So we, JTEX, EXOs, regionally in Chicago, that was like our home base was Chicago. So a couple of like, was GlobalCom, which with all the mergers and things, it's not FirstCom and stuff. But as the industry's changed, as the mergers have happened, as things become more, it's a commodity in a lot of ways. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just to stay in this business, we went to X4 Solutions because we're able to offer more than just the CLEC world anymore. Very similar to what Outreach is doing, we too are in the process of, we've added a hosting company, IBC Global we work with, and we're able to, for our agents to be able to work with them, and they have, colo, but at the same time they're also doing the rack, and they will manage it, and they will, do things. And that's not something that has been always available to the agent community. It's like, okay, yeah, we can sell colo, but the whole management that goes behind it. So a lot of the managed services that we hear about, we're able to start offering this for our agents to sell and make money on it. Similar to the desktop, all the way, from the DMARC to the desktop with, with servers, different things of that sort. Also the ability for our agents to sell SaaS, software as a service, some hosted solutions and, hosted email, and just continue to grow this product line. Like we said, T1s are just a commodity in a big aspect, and that, helping our agents move up market, not just selling that PRI anymore. So a lot of new products and strategies going out there to be more solution-based also.
even though you did hire your president from one of my former competitors, what did you call Kurtz again? Nancy, Telecom Brokers, my gosh, we go back many, many years before you joined the group, Thompson. A little bit about what Telecom Brokers does is a little bit different. It's definitely a very successful relationship.
Yeah, and thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and congratulations, by the way, for being nominated as Channel Manager of the Year. I think you
always bridesmaid.
earned that.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Nice to see you across the stage, though. Very nice. But Telecom Brokers, we're, as our name says, we are a broker. We represent over 40 different phone companies as their sales and distribution channel. And it really covers the gamut of any type of product or service that is out there in the voice or data space today, including all the new stuff. It's our job to be on top of, what is being asked for and required out there, and to source those solutions for our agents. And really, I would say the essence of one of our differentiators is we're really focused on helping our agents grow their business any way we can. And we do that in a few different ways. One, I very much believe in relationships. So we work very hard at having outstanding relationships with our vendor partners, because I'm always looking for that 360-degree win. We win, the carrier wins, the agent wins, the customer wins, everybody wins. And having those relationships gives us the ability to go ask for what's needed to meet the need. And oftentimes it's special, whether it's price or provisioning or even a different way of doing things. The other thing too is really just using marketing and helping our agents be known, because that's a big need I hear out there. Is there's a lot of folks who have really good companies, and they want to grow their businesses, but they aren't sure how to be seen in the marketplace. So we assist our agents with that too, by providing some tools for free and other tools at cost, things even like using video, like we're doing today, using video to market your business, using email, all kinds of different ways to do that. And the other thing too is really just building on those relationships at Telecom Brokers. We're always focused on that. And one of the ways I love to do it is with parties. So we like to have fun. My philosophy, in general is, I was an agent myself before I moved into the broker space. So I want to have, I want my agents to have the same thing I want. I want to make it easy to do business. I want to be on the front end, but I also want to have fun doing my business. And I want my life to be
Tupperware parties or what?
No. Well, I'll give you an example. One of the things that we're doing now is an agent or a customer appreciation event, where we're inviting our top customers. These are folks that are spending in excess of $20,000 to $25,000 a month, to a 5-star resort in Dana Point, the St. Regis Monarch Beach, for a day of fantastic golf and spa, a dinner. We're just going to really style them. And we're inviting them to bring their spouses, but we're also inviting them to bring a reference, to bring someone they know, because these guys are high up in the IT space. They're directors, they're VPs, they're CEOs, and they know people. Just like we gather here, they gather within their group. So we're asking them to bring someone they know so that we can have a referral. And our carriers are sponsoring these events. So it's an incentive for our employees and our agents as well. They want to participate in this, but they need to bring a big customer to do it. And if they can bring a big customer, then that customer can bring a referral for them, and they can participate in that. So it's really just a way of being fresh and looking at things in a new way to build on those relationships to help us grow. So.
Baldwin and DJ?
Not this time, but we do have other times. Lots of times. No trouble.
I know Export has an event. Is it back to annual? It was annual.
It's annual. We do a
Did I just miss
symposium.
my last couple of years?
And we do a symposium every year where basically we invite all the carriers that we work with, along with our agent base, to come out. And it is an educational day. We do different panels. Like this year, we always do a kind of a key speaker, but it's a state of the industry, and it's actually somebody from Wall Street that's telecom analysis. So there's always something that we do. Last year with the cable coming in, we had over, our industry talk was based on the cable. The cable coming in and it's just state of the industry type of thing. And then we always have panels. This year, we're based on what in the cloud, what's going on with cloud service type of stuff. So, there'll be, just a panel with all the different carriers speaking on, whether it be just the big bandwidth that's out there, what the SIP is, the different varieties, flavors, what's offerings are out there, along with, just all the managed services that we keep talking about.
Well, they are good events, and I did go in all seriousness, I went a couple years ago, and it was really good because it takes that community. But if we're here, this is where it's really hard to be personal. It's hard to have a good, high-quality conversation. Those events are more intimate, and you can definitely get better with the audience. So it takes that relationship, again, relationship of, oh, how about the RV? Yeah, this is pretty orthodox, it's pretty cool, I like it.
We used to do the same thing here as well, and I think there was tremendous value in having those, at least once a year events, because that's what state relationship is. And those events allow you to create relationships between the supplier and whoever it is that's out there representing. What we were running into a couple of years ago was that as dollars got tight, agents didn't want to pay for the travel and the other things, and the suppliers were pulling back on the dollars they were going to spend. And so we started something a couple of years ago that has been pretty successful, where we do a technology roadshow where we actually go out into different markets and bring the partners from that geographical area together, because now travel costs is a lot less for them and some other things. What we did this year was, in order to facilitate that travel, my partner actually got an RV, and so we traveled in the RV to the different locations where we're having our roadshow, and that's how we're trying to get out to the markets.
So he comes to them, make house calls.
I couldn't personally do it because I drive 2 or 3 hours when he does.
That's a good salary. Any questions? We've covered the reason. This event was a little bit different than one of the educational sessions in that we had a choice as the conference group. We could have had a booth, and we've almost always had a booth here for the last 10 years. This year we decided to do things a little bit different. What I've been finding by having a booth, I'd see the same people. I still see some of the same people. And it really did give me the ability to spread a new message, a cohesive message. So, and it was always distracting because people are coming through, and I usually man the booth myself, or I have one other person with me. So we wanted to try something a little bit different. So this isn't an educational track, this is a vendor presentation, so this is a paid spot. But we felt there was value in this because it gave us another smaller audience, where obviously you have some level of interest because it's awfully nice out today. So you could easily be outside by the pool. So you had some level of interest to come in to learn a little bit about conferencing with the conference group or one of our master agents. And what we've chosen to do in this space is move away from working with individual agents, the independent agent, just for a couple of reasons. We're a small shop. We're not intra-call. We have 50 employees. We've been around since 1999, but we don't have the resources to carpet bomb and support massive amounts of small agents. It's just not our model. We decided a year and a half ago to say, let's focus on our master agents, and we are still looking for new master agents. But when an independent comes to us, they want to have access to our products. Rather than work with them directly, what we'll do is we'll point them to one of our masters. And we don't just do it blindly, and I don't say, here, call one of these 3. What I try to do is find what I think is going to be the best fit based on what I know about our masters. Now, some of them might be a fit with a couple of them, and it's completely transparent. We want everybody to know what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're trying to help, to Nancy's point, that, what do you call it, 360 win?
Yeah, 360 great win.
It's true, because you want everybody to make out. It helps us. Yes, we make less, if we sell for a master, we may make a lesser margin, but that's okay, because they're bringing value to the relationship. That agent is going to benefit because they're no longer getting just conferencing, they're getting our conferencing, but on top of that, they're getting everything else that these agencies bring to the table. So we found thus far, it's a relatively new model, but we found it to be pretty successful. So I would love to open the floor to any questions. We have a few minutes. Very few, but I'd love to open the floor to any questions you may have. If you missed something that you were hoping to get when you walked in here that you didn't get, raise your hand. You just scratching your nose, Steve. Yes, Dan.
Greg, you're one of the few conferencing providers that has a successful retail sales force, and I think myself included, being an agent, struggling to sell conferencing, we'd like to hear just a little bit from someone who's an expert at selling conferencing. I mean, you have a phone room, right, where you have people smiling and dialing. What are the ways that they're being successful if we want to hire some telemarketers in our own area and start selling it that way? What advice would you give?
I mean, that's a good question. If you want the expert, you can talk to any one of my sales guys because it's not me in selling direct. Every single day, what we're doing is we are reaching out. Our typical guy is making about 100 phone calls a day. So it's not for the faint of heart. It is a labor-intensive practice. It's a numbers game, like every other sales tactic. It's a numbers game. But what you're typically doing is you're calling into an organization and just trying to find out what they're doing. The nice thing these days, they're doing something for conferencing, in most cases. What do you do if you're conferencing? Are there any pains? So you're just calling in, and you're not asking necessarily for IT. You're not asking for sales management. You're calling in and just wanting to know who in your organization works with your conferencing. Who handles that? You go through the gatekeepers. The same thing you do with any other sale. Once you get to that person, it's simply a matter of, it's peeling an onion. Just asking those questions and find out, well, how do you use it? Who do you use? How much do you use? How's it working for you? Is there anything you change? Just by going through that series, they're starting to, hopefully you want to get that, and it's really no different than any other basic sales 101. Getting the customer to tell you, rather than saying, I offer this, and this. Even though you do, it's not what you want to do. You want to say, well, you tell me what's important to you. And in a given, I'll talk about one person, it just makes it really easy instead of looking at a whole department. One person, again, I would expect them to make about 100 phone calls a day. And of those, probably make about 1 to 2 sales. Now, what's a sale mean? Again, beautiful thing is, it's not a contract. It's somebody who says, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a shot. Sounds reasonable. Yes, I have a need. Yeah, I use this other provider. They're okay, but you know what? They don't do this quite right, or I'd rather it be like this. It's getting that card in their hands. Hopefully, we'll know when they use the account. Follow up with them. How was it? How was your experience? Can I get some more cards out to you? So it's as simple as that, and it's a nice puppy dog sale. It's not a huge cutover to use this event, to use this type of service. Yes.
What list are they using? Are they just going through the yellow pages alphabetically, or have you sorted specific SICs and how many seats you know they are before you call?
See, that's a good question. We are not, I don't know that there's a silver bullet. We've been looking for it for a long time now. But we use a list tool, an internal one, where we can put in whatever criteria we want. Some of the ones that work. Okay, verticals, some verticals. Just about every vertical uses conferencing, but when you want to look at the size of the organization, we, along with many of our, I think it came up before, I think Nancy, you alluded to it, small to medium-sized businesses, they are the sweet spot for us, simply because oftentimes they don't have a carrier contract. Their invoice is not huge. You're talking about $150 a month for conferencing, but they add up. And then you have a nice, stable base of hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of customers that use at $150 a month. It's the best kind of business to have. So if you're looking for a particular vertical, it's really difficult to say. I mean, in the past I would have said, yeah, you want to go after the ones that are geographically dispersed too. Geographically dispersed, and it might be a marketing company, they have to collaborate, or it might be a law firm. It may be accounting offices that have a hierarchy that's spread out. It could be any of them. It could be engineering firms. There isn't really a vertical that we chase anymore. It's more size of business. It's more the small to medium size. Not so much sole proprietor, not so much the enterprise. They all use the enterprise is there, obviously, but you know what that is. That's the 1,000-pound gorilla, right? The sales cycle there is forever, and they're going to beat you up. If you're already in there and you have a relationship, absolutely. But I wouldn't necessarily target them out of the gate.
And what retail rate are you normally selling at? I mean, conferencing, you can give it away. You can sell it at cost. What are the retail rates that your people are generally selling?
Right now, 4.5 cents. And we found, even though Nancy, I think, alluded to the fact that free conferencing is out there, and we're still growing. The difference is, there's a big difference, and if everybody knows this, then just bear with me 1 second. The free services are never, ever, ever, ever a toll-free number. You can't do that, because they're not getting toll-free service from the carrier at no charge. The key there is they're providing long distance, a total number. So what we do, we bring to the table is a different level of, a different class of service. Do you want to give your customer, your business customer, a toll number to call into? And potentially even hear, thank you for calling free conference, or whatever the message is these days. So yes, it does cost something, but sometimes you get what you pay for.
Greg, if I could just make a point on that, this is, a real life example. Running a small business, you need to watch your costs. And we actually were using freeconferencecalling.com on a version that actually let you even customize it to where it gave our brand name and everything else. Because we didn't do that much conference calling and, it was free. Well, it only took one time where on a very important call, somebody couldn't get in because they're starting to be blocked, for us to say, you know what, we can't do this anymore. Because you're saying free is not free. If the call doesn't function the way it's supposed to, not only is it not free, it's not costing you money.
It's not a call.
So, we converted over to paying for our conference calling internal, even though we don't do that much of it, because we were using that free, quote unquote, and we had a very important call where somebody got blocked and couldn't get on, and it was a disaster.
Excellent.
So, throw that in there.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Yes, sir.
With regard to marketing, I know cold calling, sounds like that's what your folks are doing. It's very common, it's not normal to the industry. But with regard to marketing, specifically around email marketing, SEO, pay-per-click, this can be for you, Greg, as well as the panel. What are your thoughts on various marketing options in addition to books?
I'm going to turn over the panel after I throw one. I have to get my one hook in there. I'm a huge fan of internet marketing. If you could do it, if you know what you're doing, and you know how to get in there. The pay-per-click is very expensive. But if you have SEO abilities to really get presence, we've provided tools. One of the things that we've done to differentiate ourselves in an increasingly commoditized space. I mean, go on the floor, you see there's a dozen companies like us out there. What we've done to be a little bit different, to give an agent a tool that they may not get anywhere else, and you can get it through any of the masters, is a link. Instant passcode link. Customer will click on it. It has an affiliate tracking code built into it. Just like if they were buying something through Amazon through one of their agents. They know who it is based on that code that's built into the URL. They click on that, fill out the information, put in a credit card, hit submit, and they have their passcodes live. And they're on their call. So with that kind of tool, a true e-commerce tool, it makes it very, very easy to actually engage in an internet marketing campaign. Anything else in here as far as different strategies that you think?
Well, you can use that tool in a marketing strategy. Like you can put that on your website. So as you're already spending dollars and effort to drive people to your website, and when they get there, that tool can be right there, that click tool, front and center. So, the moment they hit your website, they're going to see that that's available. You can also take that and use it in a drip email campaign if you want to. I don't know that I would cold call with that per se, like to list, that's something you have to evaluate. But certainly you could have customers who may not be buying conferencing from you today and, send direct email to them with just that tool right there and a little blurb about what it is and how it works. And if you send it several times, at one point the day's gonna come when they might wanna try it. That's one strategy.
That's a good strategy. I mean, newsletters, with that kind of thing, there's newsletters, you can put it in your signature line of your email address. You're saying that how many times a day are you sending that out? Huge opportunity, yes.
Increasing usage or getting people to actually use the service once you've rolled it out. A lot of times they'll forget about it. Do you guys have people actively calling, you tell the sales reps to go ahead and just give those guys a call once, twice, 3 times a month? How are you getting people to use the service beyond just that initial use?
I'll answer that. For something that one of our partners did and still does, as far as I know, that I believe has been successful, Because it comes back to something I had said earlier, it's not just enough that they have, if they're not using it, it doesn't do anything good. And so what he would do is he would show up every once in a while, bring in pizza to the office for his customers, things like that. And while they're all, feeling good and, it's not a tense meeting because there's a problem, he's there to address an issue, he would then work into the conversation. So how is that working with your top tomorrow? And what he would get a lot of times is, oh, well, I've forgotten about it. And he would offer right then on the spot to show them how to use it. Because he's physically, I was like, here, let me just make sure you remember how to use it. And what he found was that increased the usage. Because out of sight, out of mind, and now he's bringing it back to the forefront. And that's something that can very easily be done just as a part of the process that you're going through with the customer.
You guys, these are great questions. Thank you. It's good, very well thought out, comprehensive response. Unfortunately, we have to vacate the room because of the next presentation coming in. I'm going to stick around here if anybody has any questions. I have cards right there on the table. Please feel free to grab one if you have any questions for me. Thank you for your time. I appreciate the attention. Thanks.